So, welcome back to the Barbells Biz. I've forgotten the name of my podcast. This is a great start, isn't it? So, take two. Welcome back. Can I call this prep brain?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, your face looks like now.
Right, excellent. So it's prep brain. So we'll go with take two. I don't know whether I'm going to actually feature this on the podcast. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it in. So, welcome back to the Barbells Bikini and Biz podcast with me, who can't even get a sentence together today, so this is going to be a great podcast. Lucy, and today I am joined by Caitlin Hill. Now, if you don't know who Caitlin Hill is, I'm surprised. Caitlin, give us an introduction to yourself for people who don't know who you are, how old you are, where you come from, just a little bit of an intro to yourself.
Yeah, so obviously my name's Caitlin Hill. I am 17 years old, and I guess you could say I'm a bodybuilder. Every time I say that, it's like, oh, because I feel like I haven't accomplished much yet. But yeah, I'm a bodybuilder. I've just finished sixth form, but not actually done my A-levels because of Corona, so that's fun. I was doing chemistry, biology and geography. I competed a few times, done 9 shows now, which is crazy to think. I did 7 last year, went on a bit of a rampage, to be honest. But yeah, competed first when I was 16, started prep at 15, went into the show sort of thinking, let's just see what it's like, because at my gym, it's proper old school gym, and they just sort of went, you know what, just give it a go. And I was like, why not? So it was the summer holidays of year 11, finished my GCSEs, I was just chilling, I was like, I've got nothing else to do, so I'll just start a prep, why don't you? I only did an 8-week prep, which was the worst decision of my life. Rocked up in a bikini that I bought for like £50 off eBay. Crap makeup, just rocked up, threw a few poses and managed to win my first show, which I didn't expect at all. If you don't know, they don't do junior figure. No, it's just like open. So you know, anyone listening, you just got to sort of throw yourself in there. So I managed to win that one. And then a couple of weeks later, there was a British finals. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. And came second. So yeah, I was really happy with that. Then took like a 5-month off season, started training properly. Wasn't just going into the gym and picking up 5 kg dumbbells and repping them out until, you know, the lactic acid pumped up. It was like properly, you know, top set, back off set, progressive overload, that sort of stuff. Joined with a coach, started prep, and then just went at it. And yeah, I had a really good time. And now I'm sort of in off season, waiting to, you know, waiting for everything to sort of open again. I mean, I'm trying to make as much progress as possible, but the goal is to just gain size at the moment, really.
Well, we'll touch upon sort of Corona training later on. The reason I wanted to get Caitlin on was, well, one, we sort of have back and forward a bit, but I actually never managed to speak to her in depth about competing and prep and being a young competitor and a young female in the bodybuilding. Even I find it weird referencing that about myself.
I
find it really strange. But I thought I was young getting into it. I'm 21, nearly 22, so if anyone wants to send some presents my way, my birthday is next month. Just to let you know.
Mine's even sooner, so you know, so you can send them to me as well.
I'll put our addresses in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. PayPal's down below.
You can send Caitlin some cake, and you can send me some rice cakes, because I will still be prepping, but I'll touch on that later on. But I did want to discuss what it's like being a young female bodybuilder, so to speak. But first, let everyone know 3 interesting facts about yourself that people will not know.
Oh no, you know what, everyone's listening is like, oh, I bet she's told her about this before, but I ain't got a clue. You put me on the spot here.
I have.
Right,
keep it
about
real.
Me I didn't really, I was very quiet at school, and I think if anyone follows me, they probably won't get that impression, because I don't really give a crap anymore. I just say what I want. And I think my confidence is definitely a lot higher, but I was very, very quiet in school, very studious, and weighed like 35 kilos, which I think most people can probably lift with one hand nowadays.
35?
So never 35, so 77 pounds.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So this timid, tiny girl, which I guess you probably wouldn't have known about me. So I've not always been you know, larger than the average 17-year-old. What else? I don't really post photos with me with glasses on, but I wear glasses. That's something that people might not know as well. What else? I have hypermobility and internal rotation of both feet inwards. That means that, like, if I were to break my leg or something, it would look a lot worse than it actually looks. So I have issues with, like, posing. So I actually went to a posing session with Emma Hyman, and one of the first things she said is, "Something wrong with you?" I was like, "Yeah, I know, something wrong with me." It's because so I can't pose as well, like maybe as well as other people, just because my, you know, when I'm trying to flex certain areas of my legs especially, doesn't necessarily cooperate as nicely as it should, but hasn't stopped me from doing that. So it's that's I guess that's it really.
That's great. I didn't know any of those, so that's definitely new facts. So you sort of mentioned that you were 15 when, was it 15 when you first competed, or 16?
So I started prep at 15 and then competed first at 16. Yeah.
So you'd got into sort of the fitness thing around 15. So how did you actually get into sort of lifting rather than just the more traditional classes at the gym, cardio at the gym? Because not many,
Yeah.
especially back a few years ago, if we go back a few years ago, not many girls were lifting at all. It wasn't as trendy as it is now. So how did that come about for yourself?
Yeah, so actually first started in the gym, I snuck in because you had to be 16. So I went in at 14. This was at a leisure centre. Went
It's all
there.
coming out now, isn't it? All your
I know.
it's coming out now.
I know. But yeah, just went to it was like a pure gym sort of thing.
Yeah.
Went there, just did my own thing, like 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, you know, not particularly the most optimal training, but, you know, that's something that I always say is I'm so glad that I did that to begin with. But, you know, because if you go in all guns blazing, doing the most optimal thing, where have you got to go from there? So I started off like that. And then, like, this new rule came into place. So we were called, like, junior gym because we're under 18 or whatever. Couldn't lift more than 10 kilos. So I was like, right, this isn't going to happen. Because even though I wasn't, like, training properly, I was like, oh, my God, I can't not do that. So found this rusty, dirty old gym in my town, went there, and the owner of the gym actually prepped me for my first show, and he told me to get on Trained by JP app.
Yeah.
So this was 2018, because before then they'd sort of drilled into me intensity training, not necessarily sort of recovery capabilities and volume, but more so just working hard. Because if you work at the end of the day, if you work hard at anything at the beginning, you're going to grow, you know. If you're eating well, you know, you're training hard, you're going to grow. So that's how I sort of got into it, more so being at the right place in the right time. So that's why someone asked me in a Q&A a few weeks back if you could sort of give a bit of advice to someone getting into the gym. You'd just be to go to the dirtiest, most old school gym you can find, because people in there are always the best, you know, and they'll want you to do as well as you want to do. So went there, and then obviously, like I say, got introduced to this Trained by JP app, and genuinely I hadn't seen any sort of intense training before until then. You know, Jordan screaming his guts out, you know.
It's a different level, isn't it? Yeah.
I know. Watching them, because I think you don't know real intensity till you see it. And even now, I like to say I train to failure, but, you know, it's something that I could probably hone even more. So yeah, that's sort of how I got into it, out of being at the right place in the right time, rather than sort of doing research necessarily for myself. That's something that I've come on to now. But yeah, if anyone's listening, I definitely get yourself to a gym that's not a pure gym. As much as I know a lot of people in different circumstances have to sometimes go to one of them gyms, I would get yourself to one where they're going to be good for you.
Yeah, for sure. So the first show, obviously they sort of suggested it to you. Were you aware of competing at that point? Had you ever been to a show, knew what it was about?
Yeah, so the year before I went to the same show. I went there, I just went to go watch it. Primarily this show that I started with was UKUP. People may have heard of it. It's a lot of bikini and men's physique sort of thing. It's good, very good for first timers. It isn't a tested one, which to this day I regret not doing a tested show, but it is what it is. So yeah, I went and saw a show, but even then it wasn't like a PCA 2 bro show, that sort of thing. So I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
So like I say, I started prep 8 weeks out. I think I dropped, started at like maybe 55 kilos and went down to like maybe 47, 48. So I dropped a good amount in 8 weeks. And just went at it really. There was no sort of protocol, nothing like that. Like I say, bought a bikini off eBay like the week before, had one posing session, rocked up. But like I say, I wouldn't have had it any other way, because if even the fact that I rocked up to the show, not really knowing much, but still fell in love, I was really happy with that. So that is how the first show went. I think the diet, I think it was pretty much 5 meals a day, chicken and rice, and then it was like a protein shake at night. But just did what I was told. I don't know. I think it's something that if you're going to compete in, you know, your first prep will always dictate whether you will be in it for the long run or not. That sort of thing. But yeah, just it was far from perfect, but I did fall in love with the process. I think that was the best thing about that prep for sure. A lot of things that I learned from that did then go into the next prep. So yeah, like I say, far from perfect, but it definitely helps me out a lot.
Would you say that that first prep made you sort of fall in love with bodybuilding more, or the
yeah
more?
Prior to that, it was more like I went to the gym because I enjoyed training. I didn't do it because I wanted to be a bodybuilder. At that time, I think on Instagram, probably had like 300 followers, followed just people from my school. That's why if you go on my Instagram, I don't post much at all, just because it ain't me. It's not me. I only post stuff when, you know, I'm impressed, and I'm probably my harshest critic, so I don't really post much. But at the time, it was just, you know, when you're like in school and you're just following your friends and stuff like that. So I didn't have a clue. So you know how all these old school bodybuilders, like, there was no social media in my time, that sort of thing. It was kind of like that. So I'm glad that I did that without knowing, because if I'd have seen how I looked and then seen what people were looking like who were doing like IFBB or, you know, PCA, I probably wouldn't have done it, you know, because I've always, whenever I've done something, I've always wanted to have a chance, but because I didn't know what I was going up against, I think that actually let me throw myself into the deep end, so to speak. But yeah, that's I'm really happy that I did it when I did it in them circumstances, for sure.
Now, this is something that I do want to touch on. This probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you on the podcast. Now, I've seen obviously videos of you training. We were meant to train together, I think, and then
18th of April,
Corona happened, so that never happened. But the reason I wanted to train with Caitlin, and something I want to touch upon, is Caitlin is probably one of the very few females that I've seen out there who trains similar to me, in that trains pretty hardcore and balls to the wall, so to speak, goes for it, and you don't see that much with females. Now, how important do you think, and how much progress have you made by training in that fashion rather than a more reserved fashion, which might be more quote unquote feminine, might be more of a social norm for a female? How important do you think that is? Because to me, I couldn't train another way, and I don't think I'd make any progress at all being reserved.
Absolutely. I think especially for larger categories that you have to hold larger amounts of muscle, it's paramount. There are obviously genetic freaks out there, especially in bikini. You can do a few glute kickbacks and you know, and they're all good to go. But cosmetically, I think that there is a large difference within how the muscle actually looks, you know, on stage. It's one of them things. There's always going to be a lot of argument between volume, you know, should you do very low volume, high volume? But in my opinion, as long as you're training to proper failure, you are going to grow if you're eating enough. You know, if you don't grow, there's something going wrong there, you know what I mean? And if you haven't trained to failure before, I think you're just missing out on the feeling. It's like a feeling of euphoria after a set, you know, when you've taken it all the way. And you know, sort of alongside that, the logbook made like a large difference. You'll probably notice that in your body you've got some sort of muscle that grows exceptionally well compared to the rest.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean, like for my back, within 4 or 5 months of training, it blew up. But all I was doing was like 5 sets of 10 on lat pull downs, you know, not going to failure, that sort of thing. There's something in everyone's body that does that, you know. Some people have massive legs, some people have massive delts, but in order to get your body to all cooperate, you need to be training to failure, I think, anyway. So for my first show, looking back at my physique, my delts were all right, my back was all right, legs non-existent, condition obviously we won't talk about that. But yeah, the difference that I saw, especially in my legs from my first couple of shows to my last ones, was the largest thing. Just because if I kept doing, you know, high volume on my legs, they wouldn't have grown.
Yeah.
It's one of them things, you know, you can take your body so far, don't get me wrong, especially if you've got quote unquote really great genetics, but I just, for me, I couldn't go into the gym now and leave something behind. No. You know, it's a foreign thought in my head. And if you haven't trained like that before, I would absolutely recommend it. Do that for 3-4 months, eating well. Look at the before and after pictures, and there will be a difference. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what I've preached to people as well. Now, I look at my sort of pictures last year, when my training, I thought I was training good, and I'd never reached this point of failure. I thought I had, and I never had. And it was when I sort of got a new coach last year and I learned more about failure, that it was literally in about 3 months I put a side-by-side picture of my quads from sort of April time till it was about September, and between April and June as well, mind, I was in a deficit as well. And the difference was ridiculous. I'll even say that about myself. It was ridiculous. And that's because I had done that. I'd done what I needed to do. But I think it's very, very hard to get that across to females, what needs to be done, because that thing of shouting in the gym and giving it 100% and getting angry, I think it's not frowned upon as a female, but it's not a feminine behaviour. So what would you say to girls to sort of overcome that? Because I've tried to tell people that you don't need to do that, but if it's a way of you getting those last reps out, it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I do. In all honesty, sometimes I do look back at my videos and I think, oh my God, did that come out of my mouth? Oh, who's she? You know. But it's when you're in the gym and you see the massive bodybuilder to the side of you doing, you know, a load of grunts, for a second you might look over and think, oh bloody hell, he's a bit loud. But after that, no, you don't. It doesn't even cross your mind. You know what I mean? And nowadays, what I've noticed, because obviously I still train at my the gym that I originally went to, but I do go to Ultraflex as well. And it again goes to the idea of having just a good environment around you. Like, you make a noise in there, no one will bat an eyelid, an eyelid, will they? You know, do it in pure gym. A couple of people might turn around, but it's more out of respect, I guess, and especially if you're female. As much as I hate to say it, the men will probably more be in awe of the fact that a female is lifting heavy or putting effort into it. The amount of times people have come up to me in the gym and gone, bloody hell, you're giving it some, and I'm like, like we all should be.
100%. I've had that as well. Like, oh, you train hard, like it's a shock, like a female training hard. What is going on?
It's
miracle.
I know. I think just actually, because my training partner at the moment, I've taken her to a few gyms, and the thing is, she wants to train. Like, she trains hard and she wants it. And when we're training in my garden, you know, she'll give it her all, and you know, a few noises will come out here and there, and she don't care. But took her to the muscle unit, you know, Barnsley. Brilliant gym, you know, banging atmosphere. Everyone wants the same thing, but even then, you know, she was a bit reluctant to sort of let out a noise. And it's just one of them things where obviously if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, but do you want to progress, you know?
Absolutely.
Do you want to be a body maintainer or a bodybuilder?
I like that. Body maintainer
yeah.
or bodybuilder. That's a good
Yeah,
way to
exactly.
it. Now that's
like,
environment is so important. That's something, again, I hate saying that I preach, but it's so true. Now, I work in a gym and I absolutely love the gym I work in. Absolutely love it. But it is a very, very much like pure gym, like a mum's gym, you know, and it's lovely, but I don't feel like I can train hard there because I feel like it's one of those places where if you did make a noise, you would get the look. So
off camera.
Would you say it is worth traveling or investing more to have that better environment?
Absolutely. I mean, an example, so prep this time round, coach said to me, right, Stairmaster. I've got no Stairmaster in my gym. Obviously, I was 16 at the time, couldn't drive. You have to be 17, obviously. So I was like, right, what the bloody hell am I going to do? So I had to wake up 6:30 every morning, get the bus to York, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, just to find a Stairmaster. But, you know, it has to be done. There is a gym everywhere. You know, even if it's not close to you, there's always one, especially in the UK. And I assume the majority of, you know, people that are listening are probably up north, sort of Yorkshire area or somewhere up north. And up north, we are very, you know, we're very lucky to have so many great gyms, especially, you know, in Yorkshire area. And just drive somewhere, you know, even if it's going to take 10 more minutes, just wake up 10 more minutes early, you know what I mean? It's
100%. It's not the nearest gym to me. There's probably 10 gyms I could probably say that are closer to me in terms of the drive, but is it worth it? 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it might cost you more money, might cost you a bit more time, a little bit less sleep, but just plan your day right, spend your money correctly, and you're not going to have any issues at all.
And I think if it matters to you that much, that little bit extra drive or that little bit extra money is a good investment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, why would you want to? Yeah, the thing that ran through my head was, oh crap, I ain't got a Stairmaster. I could use a bike, you know. But the thing is with a bike, and I know a lot of people sometimes think, why a Stairmaster? And this is something that I used to think as well. It was more a case of when you're on prep, your energy is going to go down, innit?
Yeah.
And with a bike, if you've got less energy, you can't, you know, you can stop if you want to. But on a Stairmaster or a treadmill or something like that, if you've got no energy and you stop, you're falling on the floor.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, it's and I wouldn't be able to hop on stage thinking, oh, what if I'd have, you know, spent, you know, £10 a week on a bus fare rather than a Costa, you know. It's something that has to be done, in my opinion. If you want your goals bad enough, you'll do anything to get it.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's something that kind of brings us on to Corona and home training. So, bit of a lowdown. How are you finding it in terms of comparative to the gym, and what are you doing to overcome some of the barriers? Because of course, home training does have a hell of a lot of barriers, especially when you've gone from the gyms we've come from with the best equipment there is, arguably, to the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at the beginning, I had, you know, the vinyl dumbbells. You screw on and off.
Yeah, I've got some of them. They're great. They're absolutely great. I love them.
Oh, brilliant! I had some of them and a few resistance bands, but I knew that it was, you know, I rarely ever spend money, and I never really thought, oh, this money's going to be spent on gym equipment. But here we are. Someone needs to take my card off me, that's for sure.
Got it.
Like scrolling through eBay, scrolling through Gumtree, finding anything I could. Luckily, I've got the local gym lent me some stuff, so I've got some 30s, 22s, 24s. I've got
Oh, lost you there.
Yeah.
Lost you on my side.
Yeah.
So we're back now. We had a bit of a technical difficulty. Yes,
Yeah.
you on about you had some stuff from your gym.
Yeah. So luckily, people have been really, really kind, and I've got off quite luckily in the sense that I've got a good amount of kit. But just to put it into perspective, if anyone's listening out there that maybe doesn't have as much kit, it sort of come into realization that it doesn't matter what kit you've got. It's a bit of a ball ache, like whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
Obviously, when things are going right, when everything's set up properly, it is good on the odd chance, but it's you can't mimic a gym setting. One of the biggest things that sort of helped me out a lot is getting a gym partner. So obviously you can have someone around in your garden or whatever, and that's been good. Just having someone there.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, you've glitched again.
Jesus. Yeah, just sort of atmosphere.
Yeah. Now, this is something I totally relate to. So when I first started, I was quite naive to the whole. I think a lot of us were to how bad this was going to get. I don't think anyone expected it to be this. Mm-hmm. So my initial thought was when things got put down, it's going to be 2-3 weeks. So I was like, oh well, I've bought some resistance bands. I'll be right. Yeah. I mean, kudos to Vicky, who's my coach. She gave me a chuffing brutal home workout program with just pure bands and body weight. Like, it's hard. And then as time progressed, I was like, yeah, this isn't great. And I managed to get hold of some dumbbells in Argos before sort of everyone jumped on the hype. And then again, that for me wasn't enough because I only went up to about 20 kilos, and even banding everything, it wasn't enough. So then I bought a barbell and some more weights, and that to me, I thought it's not enough. And then I bought a bench. And even with all this equipment, which I will not lie, I've spent a decent amount on, not as much as some people, but a decent amount. I thought the more I'd have, the easier it would feel to train. It doesn't. It feels just as hard in terms of motivating yourself as it did that first day with just a couple of bands. And I think that is something again which reflects back to what we said earlier about how important your atmosphere is for training.
Absolutely. I mean, even with me making stupid choices, I've bought machines and got barbells and stuff like that. Even then, it's just not the same. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with it once this is over, but
that's what's stopping me going crazy. Like, I keep seeing things online like, got quite a bit of money in my savings, and
I know.
But I think it's that thing of I'll buy it and that initial first couple of goes and it'll be like a kid at Christmas, and then again like a kid at Christmas, after 5 minutes the novelty's gone and it's back to being home or your garden. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I was gonna buy the leg press that AJ's got.
Yeah, I was looking into a leg press / hack squat, I'm not gonna lie.
Saw it on Gumtree, I think it was, and it was like Sheffield, and I was like, right, that's only 50 minutes away. And then all of a sudden puts it on his Instagram, doesn't he? And I'm like, you little bitch. It was only like 300 quid as well.
Oh my god. But, I'd probably have literally bought that if I'd seen that as well.
There and then, I know. I mean, that was brilliant. But but on the upside, I think when everyone gets back into the gym, when you start training, it'll be like newbie gains again.
Yeah.
When you let's say you've taken barbell rows for a good run of like 10 weeks and you take them out because they've stalled. I think everyone going back into their sessions will be able to progress more than they've ever done before.
Yeah, that's a really good way.
Because everyone's had to work on tempo, so everyone's form should be better. Everyone's had to work on execution, everything like that, and put it into perspective. If people are stressing out about the strength on prep, so I did 132.5 kg deadlift before prep. Then for some reason I took it out. I think it's because my lower back just wasn't recovering from that. And then first session back, 15 kilos later, I went in and did like 120. So it's only 12.5 kilo drop, and I hadn't done deadlifts for 6 months. So muscle memory is an amazing thing, and you'll be surprised. Even if you go in, I'd definitely, you know, use lower weights than you're doing, but don't go stupid low, because you can do more than you think, and then all of a sudden it'll come right back. Your strength will rocket, and you need to like profiteer sort of off that period of time, because the amount of muscle, you know, even changing your body composition, you might not even change in terms of weight, but just having everything there, you will rest so much. So I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of people, whether you're on prep or in off season, or even just you know a lifestyle client.
See, I'm hoping it sort of falls at quite a good time, because I meant to sort of finish my diet around the end of July. So if gyms open, that would fall into quite a good place within what you've said there, for everyone to sort of recomp, but to be
it's the best body recomp of anyone's life, isn't it? You know, even if because so you're not competing this year then?
No, I decided not to. It was a really hard decision, and again I was very naive. So when all shows started getting cancelled around sort of February, March time, me and Vicky were like, well, we'll be fine for September. Like September's fine. So I was like, I'll keep going. And I didn't think gyms would be shut long. And then as time went on and more shows getting cancelled and things just don't look promising, I just thought to myself, even if shows do go ahead, 2 things. One, they're probably going to be weird in, like, you know, small audiences, social distancing. So it's not going to be the experience I want for my first show. I want it to be special, because I might hate it. I might do it and think, oh, never again. But at least I've had that experience of it. And 2, I know my training's been suboptimal. And so, obviously, in a deficit, you're potentially going to lose muscle anyway. And I think it's probably been worsened by the home training. So I wouldn't be happy getting on stage with, even if it is all up here, I wouldn't be happy. Even if my training's been fine up here, it's just not there. So doing a cut for a photo shoot at the end of July, because I still want something to show for it, because I've started in January. I made the decision, I think, in May or April. So by then it had been like 3-4 months of, it's not got really hard until now, but I've been on it. Like, I've not missed anything. I'm tracking everything, and I just don't want it to go to waste. I want something to show for it. And also to then, as you're leaner, you can highlight your weak points. Like, now I'm a bit leaner, I know areas that are weak that I didn't think were that weak, because when you're fluffy or off season, you kind of do look a bit bigger and everything is okay. But now I know I've got some really big weaknesses that I need to sort out, and in a way I'm glad I'm not competing, because
it's one of the things, you know, the amount of positives that you can take from this situation. You know, the thing is, with this sort of time, fat loss is pretty easy, because, you know, what else have we got to do with our days? Stress most likely going to be low, because if you've got a job, if you work from home anyway, it's going to sort of be the same.
See, I'm just trying to build up my business, so my stress is actually a lot higher than it
normally is, to be honest. I can imagine. But for the majority of people, especially a lot of your clients, I can imagine that not having social gatherings that they go into all the time, you know, stuff like that, it's a really good time.
I've got a lot of clients, and in their program, I also, for a lot of my lifestyle clients, I do factor in a off-plan meal, and a lot of them have come back to me in the check-in and said that they've not utilised it, because that's normally something they'd want for a social gathering, and if they live on their own, they're not really bothered, so they've not done it. Whereas
absolutely. I mean, like with yourself, obviously, because in when life is normal, so to speak, you could have things pop up here and there, but it's so consistent nowadays that I think, you know, anyone wanting to lose fat. Obviously, like you say, it's not optimal for retaining muscle at the same time, and that's why I imagine you've come to this conclusion. But nonetheless, you can shed fat, you know, like no other. Like I say, obviously not for yourself, but stress is low. You can do the same thing every day, which is great for just you know, adherence. And it's one of them things that the people at the end, it'll be nice to see. Well, it'd be interesting for sure to see who's been putting the work in and who hasn't, because it'll show. It will show.
100%. And so we're sort of talking on that. It kind of brings us on to the sort of one of the final points of being a younger competitor, and who, because you know what this lifestyle's like. It is a lifestyle. It's not like most sports where, you know, or hobbies where you rock up on an evening at 7 p.m. and do your hours training. It's 24/7 really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
How have you dealt with that as a younger individual in terms of missing out on social norms of growing up, of, you know, going out for meals as teenagers, hanging out as teenagers, going partying and all that wonderful stuff?
So starting off sort of before I'd done my first show, I did a lot of If It Fits Your Macros, and that worked perfectly for that time and that situation. So that didn't really impede me a lot. As a teenager, you can grow like mad from doing stuff that potentially adults would never be able to do. You know, even then, the weekend there'd be a party, I'd go, you know, drink, not excessively, just because I was always a bit conscious of it, but you know, it didn't necessarily impede my life. I had that balance, so to speak. And then obviously going through prep, my friends were so good. Like they were very understanding. Now they know, they're like, oh, you want a cut, you're on off season, and then they're just like, you know, they know straight away. One of the only things that I did have was on my first prep, I went to Leeds Fest.
Oh my god.
I went to Leeds Fest. It was a good idea. Had one meal at like midday, and then obviously you can't take food in. And the only thing I had until like 3 a.m. in the morning was a Pepsi. Did 44,000 steps, so you know, might have helped fat loss that day. Good
definitely. Maybe that's what should be programmed on people's preps.
Absolutely.
6 weeks out, go to a festival.
But went to that. But other than that, I wouldn't say I've necessarily missed out on a lot. Obviously, sometimes looking back at it, I'd have thought, oh, you know, could have done this, could have done that. Another hard one was last year. On holiday, I went to all you can eat, you know, sort of all inclusive holiday. The family couldn't. I mean, I made use of what they had, but it was it's more to do with the food, because I know that I can control my mood when I need to. Like if I'm going out with, I can still go out with everyone. And it's not like we drink all the time. It's I've had a very good experience in terms of everyone being so understanding, that's for sure. It's more like everyone's curious. And I'm sure you've had that as well. You know, even working at a gym yourself, people still don't understand it, I imagine.
No, because the gym I go to, like I've said, is very pure gymmy. So the people who work there, we've got someone who does powerlifting, so he sort of understands it. We've had a few people, I think, who've come before me who've competed, so they are aware of it. So we've had, I don't know if you know any of them, Lucy Ellis, do you know who she is?
Name rings a bell, yeah. Have you had Dixon Physique?
What?
I think he's called Dixon Physique. I think he's from sort of Leeds area, isn't he?
Yeah. There's a few people who'd already competed, but even then, there's still the interest, and from the members there was the interest. The hardest thing I've ever had to deal with, I think, was the first sort of time I sort of got into it a few years ago, was family not understanding why I was making different meals, why I was weighing out everything. And even now, this year, this is the first year I've ever been so meticulous with tracking. Like before, I've never bothered weighing out like veg or sauces. This is the first time I've been that on it, and to them that is still quite like even lettuce, like, are you weighing out lettuce? I'm like, yes. Like, do you need to? I was like, well, it wouldn't matter. Like, I don't tell my clients' lifestyle to weigh out lettuce because it's not all. But in this sport, you want everything to be bang on, and I think they've not been supportive, but I think it's just that curiosity, and they think it's a bit weird. But
it's
they do
apprehensive nature.
Yeah,
apprehension, just more out of I think they just care for my health, because obviously when you go from being a quote unquote normal girl to potentially, you know, losing a lot of weight in a period of time, your face especially will start to sort of, you know, you'll AJ puts it, look like you got AIDS. You know, like,
mine doesn't go that bad, but my off-season face is horrendous. I literally look like the moon emoji.
No,
like,
don't.
legit.
I'm the queen of the moon face.
Moon emoji.
Someone messaged me saying, have you started taking gear because your face looks well puffy? And I was like, no, I've just got a fat face, I'm sorry. But they were apprehensive, but they've always been incredibly supportive of whatever I've done. I think the main thing is once you get up on that stage, it clicks, falls into place. And now my mum, she's one of our best supporters. You know, doing a check-in, she'll be like, oh yeah, your back's coming in more, or, you know, she calls them chicken nuggets on the back, you know, and detail starts coming through.
I've not got to that bit yet where I've done a check-in in front of my family. No, I'm not.
Oh no, one of the best check-ins was, so I was travelling down to Birmingham. I had to set up at like 5 a.m, and my coach wanted check-in photos every couple of hours, but it took like 4 hours to get down there, so we had to pull up at the side of the motorway, get kit off, and she was there going, right, come on, hurry up, taking, you know, videos of me on the side of the motorway. But now at a show, if I'm sat with someone else that I recognise and I'll go sit with them, she'll message me and go, oh, number 1 of 4 is gonna win, just because she's been submerged in bodybuilding a lot now. So it's one of them things, and even if people don't support you, they're your parents.
Yeah, that's one thing I was very excited for, actually. Was I think them actually coming to see a show and seeing what I do would help them, because my auntie does. Me and my auntie, this is what got me into actually wanting to compete. I went to go watch a family friend of it's my auntie's best friend compete in MPA, Natural Fed.
Oh right, yeah.
And she did masters figure, so she was a lot older. If she's listening to this, I'm really sorry, Paula, but you are a lot older in the masters class. And it was amazing. But the first time I went to watch it, as weird as it was, because the first time you're like, what the hell is this? Like, there's just naked people pretty much everywhere, orange. Yeah. But she understood it, and from that, she then got quite into the whole thing. And when I told her I was doing it, she got really excited for me, and she actually bought me some posing shoes for Christmas last year. And I think just actually going to it, you can then sort of appreciate it more.
Yeah, I think another one was, especially with my dad, he sort of thought, you're 16, getting on stage in a bikini, is it not, you know, like, he wasn't proper happy with that. But it's not like that. No one looks, it's more like a piece of art. You know, you look, you compartmentalize. Even the men aren't looking at you in that way. It's like,
no, it's when you think about that.
As soon as he saw it, he was like, okay, I get it. It's definitely one of them things. And especially for, you know, you had Ella on, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Her, you know, she went through a whole prep, and then for parents not to see it, it's heartbreaking. But as soon as they do, I know that they'll be buzzing, and I bet your parents will be as well.
Yeah, and they appreciate what I'm doing now, and I think they do appreciate what I do. And I think because of everything I've had history-wise with food, and having an eating disorder, and having a very, very poor relationship with food, and being very unwell, them seeing me have similar behaviours in being not obsessed, but obviously when you've got an eating disorder, your mind is focused on food, but doing that in a way that's actually good for me. I think they do actually like seeing that, and seeing me fueling my body rather than depriving it. And even doing it now, I'm still eating enough. Like, calories are low, but they're not what they were back then. Back in the day, I was having, oh, you've frozen again. So it's not having a good day. So we'll wrap this up with the important question, which is going to become a bit of a trademark of the podcast. Number one cereal.
Number one cereal.
Number one.
Crave.
Which one?
Just bog standard hazelnut one.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's acceptable. It's an acceptable answer. I'll give you that. I do like the roulette ones though. I won't lie.
What's yours then?
At the moment, it does fluctuate, and obviously right now
Right.
I just go for the volume if I do have any cereal. So I've actually got because I've got a live class after this.
That sugar puffs or something.
Yeah, I've got some sugar puffs because volume and energy for HIIT workouts. Yay!
Absolutely.
No, I can't wait. But if I was off season ink, Reese's. It's not. Is it Reese's? There's one that's like a peanut butter one. I think it's It's an American brand. It's called Peanut Nut.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that before. Yeah.
They're
Oh,
ridiculous.
that's a good shout. Yeah, that is a good shout.
I only did one last year, and I've never seen it since. I got it for my birthday last year, and they were peanut butter and chocolate balls. Now they were just lethal.
Yeah, so the only ones that I've at the moment are Cocoa Pops because they're the only ones that are on my plan. So a bit boring like that. But if it was like you can have any cereal you want, bit of Crave, bit of Made that.
Have you ever had the Lion Bar cereal?
I haven't. I am partial to a Lion Bar, but to be honest, I'm a bit of a pig. I just like every food, so I'll probably like it.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
You know what? I reckon you should do. I reckon you should bait out anyone that says like a dead cereal. If they say something like, yeah, you've got to bait them out.
I will. If someone comes to me and says something like cornflakes, I will.
Frosties.
See, Frosties are quite good though.
They're all right, but out of hundreds of thousands.
If you've got the choices of every single one on the shelf.
Yeah.
And calories and macros weren't taken into the equation, you wouldn't pick. I'd like to think. It's like my dad. I asked my dad this. And do you know what his are? And oh my god, it's shocking. They're called.
Hang on. What's it? Is it like hoops or?
They're called
something?
cherry wheats.
There you go.
Shredded wheat.
Yeah, the hoops.
Shredded wheat with like.
Oh.
It's like shredded wheat with like fruit in the middle.
Yeah, that's dead. You just got to bait them out there.
I said, are you serious? He's like, I love them. I love cherry wheat. So yeah.
You know what's a good shout there? Crunchy nut granola.
Let's not talk about crunchy.
Oh, I bet you like saliva's building up now.
See, this is literally when people say to me like, "Oh, what are you having after your shoot? What do you want? Baking?" It's like, one, please don't bake me anything because I've got so many people saying they're going to bake me stuff, and it's just like it's a bit.
I know, yeah. See, the thing is, if nailing your post-show, post-diet rebound, nothing feels better. First show, didn't do it. Second show, like to think I did it, and 3 months afterwards, I was probably like 7, 8, 9 kilos up, but still, vascular as hell.
I managed it last year because I did a cut last year, and I didn't think I'd even got any that lean last year, but I look back now and I was like, Jesus Christ, you were small. Yeah. Like I probably wasn't far off getting on, stage really. Like, in all honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at photos when I went back, and by the end of it, just so stringy. But the look, sort of 3-4 weeks post show, at the time, I thought, oh my god, I'm massive. I'm well fat now. I hope that no one should get offended by me saying fat. That's just I can compartmentalize and sort of, I hate it when people go, oh, you shouldn't call yourself fat. Well, what else are you going to call it? You know what I mean? It is fat, isn't it?
Technically it is.
With bodybuilding, you've got to detach yourself from your emotions. But I think probably looked better 3-4 weeks post show, just because everything was alive again.
Yeah, it was weird because my plan last year was to diet up until my graduation, because that was the plan. Right. I wanted to look good for my graduation. I ended up pulling out in a few weeks before, I think about a month before, because I just wasn't very well. It wasn't a very good cut, and I wasn't competing, so there was no point in me getting ill. I brought calories up, and I just kept dropping weight and looking better. And then it was my birthday and graduation, so as you can imagine, it was my 21st, and
party.
So I didn't really drink or anything, but there was just so much food thrown at me. Like, my parents got me this. I don't know if you've seen it on my Instagram. This Reese's cake, and it was like, I kid you not, like huge, and people baked for me, and it was nice. But after a few days, I was like, I'm done. Like, I literally want to get back.
Best thing I could have done was, like, people saying, oh, but you know, what do you want to do? And it's just better to say, look, we'll go out for a meal out, so you get like one, you know, main course, a dessert, and that's it. That's the best thing that I could have done personally.
Yeah. But yeah, coming off the tangent of that, when people say, what do you want after your diet? I'm like, in all honesty, I'm just excited for my macros to get back to the point when I can have 100 grams of cereal post-workout. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, now, my post-workout is tiny. And it's like, that's the only thing that bothers me right now. Because I like to eat a lot after I've trained, because I always just feel like,
yeah, absolutely. It's feeding up and just knowing that it's a weird feeling. I don't know if you feel this, but feeding up, knowing that the food is growing you, you know what I mean, rather than just keeping you going. Yeah,
like other times a day, it just does not bother me at all. Like, I could literally just have pro-fat meals if that was the case. It's not the case, but I could. But after I've trained, I used to eat so much food. Like, I'd have like two. I'd have like a bowl of rice and chicken and cereal. Just eat loads.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I don't want to go into what I've got. It's absolutely diabolical.
But needs
more, but I could have more, like, because it's macros, but then I'd have nothing else for the day. And
yeah, absolutely. No, makes sense.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, Caitlin.
No, thank you.
I mean, you say you don't post much on like your actual feed, but you're quite active on your stories.
Yeah, on my stories. Yeah,
so
if you want to
follow you already, what's your Insta tag?
It's Caitlin_Hill. However, the A is an 8 because someone has the same name as me and rudely took my name. I know.
She's a gangster, that's all it is. She wants to be a bit different, a bit edgy, that's all it is.
Absolutely.
Anyways, I'll wrap that up there. Won't take up the rest of your day. Thanks for listening again, guys, and see you at the next one.